DC is cooked. What the fuck are they doing? Imagine James Gunn looking you dead in the eye and telling you this one had an incredible script. So good, they had to fast-track it. And then Variety, not some rage bait merchant on YouTube, Variety read that exact same script and called it the worst they can remember. That's the bar we're starting at. But here's where it gets even more crazy. Because Grace Randolph decimated this film's review by dropping nuke after nuke while looking like a 10/10 version of how Supergirl should have looked. The one critic who should have been doing backflips for this thing called it an epic failure on the level of Birds of Prey. When you've lost Grace, it's fucking over. Welcome back, guys. It's your boy, Digital Flesh, your only hand-drawn boy on the net. Hit like, smash subscribe, drop a comment, and let's dive into why it's over for James Gunn. Imagine you go to see Supergirl, and instead, you get Guardians of the Galaxy 5 because Superman was Guardians of the Galaxy 4. She spends the first half hour with no powers because she's flown off to a red sun planet so she can get drunk and basically be a degenerate. Then the second she powers up under a yellow sun and becomes the most powerful being in the galaxy, they shoot her with kryptonite darts. Debuffed, rebuffed, no powers, then powers. What the schizo fuck is going on? Full-powered Supergirl could end this film in 5 minutes, but they keep their own hero on a leash for 90% of the time. You made a Supergirl film terrified of letting Supergirl be super, and the version of her you do get, they go out of their way to make her unlikable. She vomits, and she also pisses with the door open and passes out on the loo, and they make sure you watch. She never washes her hands, then later eats popcorn that you literally saw squeezed out of an alien's asshole and goes, tastes like shit.
What the fuck?
Same Guardians template that makes zero sense. She wears little fluffy 80s headphones to block out her super hearing. Noise-cancelling Kryptonian hearing. Did the writer research anything to do with Kryptonians? It's vibes over logic every single time. Now let's talk about how shockingly little of this movie is their own idea. Act 1 is Captain Marvel, exiled superwoman moping round the galaxy in her ship. Just swap the cat for a dog. Act 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Same scuzzy space pirates, same costume department, and she does the Star-Lord middle finger gag in basically the same jacket. Act 3 is Mad Max Furiosa. I'm not joking. The villains kidnap women, dress them in white, and call them brides. Lifted clean out of Fury Road. They even copy the Star-Lord freezing in space bit, and the CGI slop finale is basically Black Widow. It's not homage, it's not inspired by, it's a weak tribute act. You're watching watered-down copies of 6 movies at once. Did no one quality check this? Overall look of the film is absolute dog shit. What happened to being more heroic and hopeful? All that marketing to move away and be different to Man of Steel, and somehow they made it worse. Nothing feels practical. It's green screen as far as the eye can see, and the eye can't see far because it's all brown filter and dust. The fight scenes are hot garbage. The end fight scene was abysmal. It wasn't heroic, it felt like a mess. The music was fucking atrocious, like the rest of this film. Nothing hit and nothing was memorable. Zero goosebumps on this one. It's the same old stagnant James Gunn formula, run by someone who doesn't understand it, which makes it 10 times more terrible. Gunn has already abused this systematically, so I'm not surprised it's being reused. Here it just sits on top going, look how good my music taste is! And tonally, the whole film's a mess. Miserable trauma 1 minute, quirky bus jokes the next, and you genuinely don't know what you're meant to be feeling. Let's talk about the mutt, because the dog is the entire engine, and that's the problem. The plot only moves because Krypto gets shot with a poison dart, and there's a 72-hour timer on him, like Majora's Mask. And look, I love animals. Hurt an animal on screen or in real life, and I'm going Punisher mode. Which is exactly why it feels so cheap here. It's the only thing in the film reaching for your heart, so instead of earned, it feels like a cheap gimmick, and yet again repetitious like all of Gunn's templates. Krypto is a countdown timer in a fur coat. And in the comic, there's a clever twist where the poisoning was barely real. Supergirl half-faked it to give a grieving kid a reason to come along. But the lovely writer, who's only written one other thing to her name here, has binned it.
Now, here's where it really frustrates me, because Kara doesn't get the clean baby-in-a-pod origin Superman got. Argo City breaks off as Krypton dies, drifts through space, and everyone slowly rots from kryptonite in the soil. She watched her world die. That should make her the most haunted person in the galaxy. So why is she written like a snarky, hungover gap-year backpacker firing off pop culture quips? I think it would have been way better with a truly broken Kara learning what heroism is. That would have been a much more interesting film, and would have had payoffs too. What we got is misery and one-liners. Cry me a fucking river. Kryptonite only hurts these people when a yellow sun's charged them up. That's why a depowered Kryptonian can hold the green rock all day. So how's an Argo City that never went near a yellow sun dying of kryptonite poisoning? And her dad, a Kryptonian genius, finds the blueprints and builds her one escape pod. A whole city of dying people and you knock out a single-seater? It's the kind of hole you only notice because the film is so fucking badly written. Then there's Ruthie, the kid with the sword, and she's the clearest sign nobody steered this thing. One minute, she's a helpless girl who can't stop a random alien strolling up and nicking her weapon. And then, Act 3, she's choking out guards and doing parkour. They never earned the jump. And the relationship that's meant to be the spine, Supergirl teaching Ruthie that vengeance will eat her alive, gets torched at the end when Kara does the exact killing she preached against. So what did Ruthie learn? What did Kara learn? 2 characters, a whole road trip, 0 growth. That's not a journey, that's just stuff happening. And oh, her family makes the best weapons in the galaxy, but are framed as innocent. Mate, if you arm the people doing the killing, that's not innocence. I honestly thought they dropped the ball here. You had a merciful Superman in James Gunn's movie, yet here you have an adolescent girl just straight up shanking the bad guy with 0 remorse. To make it worse, it's not even spoken with when she has the chat with Superman later. What a missed opportunity. The villain's master plan to kill a Kryptonian is to lure her to a planet with a green sun. Okay, except the planet also has a yellow sun, so he's banking on her dying before sunrise. She also forgets she has powers when it's convenient, like when she's searching for the bad guy and doesn't just X-ray through a wall to spot him. She gets blasted into the vacuum of space, depowered, no helmet, and instantly frosts over like Star-Lord. Like, haven't we done this already? Oh yeah, there's one part where street-smart, can't-fool-me Kara sits down and drinks an obviously poisoned cup of tea. It's the most retarded thing I've ever seen, as she tries to coat her stomach with milk afterwards. And later, she lets someone bag her head so she conveniently doesn't notice she's being flown to the green sun death planet. I swear she has X-ray vision, bro. What the fuck? The villain, KREM of the Yellow Hills. We're told he commands the might of thousands. And I'm not the only one who thinks this is a weak point. Others have also noticed this generic Mad Max reject so interchangeable with his own goons that people lost track of which one he was. Slap on the all-male race farming kidnapped women subplot, a whole grenade of nonsense thrown in, and I wonder why. Plus a trafficking young girls thread so heavy-handed it's eye-roll material. It's literally the Mad Max Furiosa, down to the brides dressed in white. It's all so tiresome. The book actually fleshes him out better than the film does, and has a much better ending in my opinion. But here, he's just nothing. Which is a shame, because DC generally has such rich and interesting villains. They just went with an intergalactic toxic masculine. For a superhero film, the action is shockingly limp. Depowered Kara somehow batters opponents triple her size through sheer plot. No wit, no skill, just girl boss physics, which helps nobody and means nothing. Then it's bar fight after bar fight after bar fight, including an arm wrestling arm break, because we need to find anything that's male-dominated and make sure we know this girl can defy it. And the big team up with Lobo you've been waiting for? 8 to 10 minutes max screen time, I kid you not. He looks great, his eyes are perfect, and Momoa was born to play Lobo. But he wasn't used to his maximum potential. He barely does anything. The bartenders are not scared of him, and the bike looks mid as fuck. If he was with Supergirl the whole film, it might have saved the film. The story isn't narratively driven, it's a sequence of events. You could lop 20 minutes off and lose nothing. Apparently, they did cut half an hour, yet it still drags. Superman, like in his film, is used as a chew toy again. Every time he's on screen, for the 6 to 7 minutes of screen time he has, he's undercut, made a fool of, the butt of the joke. Limp-wristed punk rock, the lot. Nearly every man in this thing is a pig, a coward, or a punchline, and the main one in the universe gets neutered. What did the writer mean by this? Oh, also, to wind the fanbase up on purpose, they double down on the baby conqueror lore, hard confirming Jor-El sent Superman to conquer Earth. A throwaway line that didn't need to exist, that contradicts the kind people raising Kara, dropped in purely to poke people who didn't like that angle. You're not telling a story there, you're trolling your own audience. Almost every choice is the wrong fucking choice. This is the one that actually winds me up, because the source was right there. Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, supposedly Gunn's favorite comic, the reason he plucked it out the lineup. In that book, Kara and the kid both want KREM dead. She talks Ruthie down, and won't do it herself either. She phantom zones him for centuries. The entire point is, don't become the monster. Be a good person. There's a beautiful epilogue. Old Ruthie, old withered KREM begging forgiveness. And she refuses to forgive him, but refuses to kill him too. A genuinely Superman message. So what does the movie do? She lectures the kid. Don't kill him, it'll destroy you. Vengeance isn't the answer. And then puts a sword through his stomach for Krypto, and then through his neck for, I can't remember because I was so shocked. She does the exact thing she just preached against, while wearing the S. What's the point of using your favorite comic just to gut the reason it exists? Make it make sense, for fuck's sakes. This thing's dead in the water, and the marketing actively hurt it. Millie's off-screen comments framing who it was and wasn't for, and saying things like it's not for males and it's not a love story, did the film no favors. When you alienate the core audience, which is predominantly male, prove me wrong, I dare you, it won't end well. And the missed setups are criminal. Argo City floating in a dome in space is screaming Bottle City. A Brainiac tease so obvious it hurts. And he's literally in a film next year, or at least I think he's in the next Superman film. The Krypton flashbacks could have teed up Man of Tomorrow, and they didn't go all the way. She's all over the galaxy, not one Green Lantern in sight. Craig Gillespie directs it with zero gusto, a watered-down copy of a James Gunn movie. They're trying to make the super family in a Guardians-esque way, and it's just not going to work. Here's the truth. This isn't a Supergirl movie. It's Furiosa with a cape. Mad Max in space wearing a borrowed S. And the genuinely tragic part is the writer clearly does not understand this movie, does not understand this universe, and does not understand the characters.
The fact she only has one other thing under her writing credits is very suspicious. I know writers who would have written this for half of what she got and done a better job. This whole thing is screaming dumpster fire. Aggressively, painfully low tier, with an ending that betrays its own message. I'm landing on a 1 out of 10. Lobo gets the 1 point, but the rest is incompetent, copied, and it threw away its whole point at the finish line. In a time where we actually need hope and escapism to its fullest, this film betrays those ideas. So here's what I actually want answered below. Is Supergirl a genuinely bad film, or just a bad Supergirl film? Because there's a difference, and I reckon that difference is the entire story. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Like the video, subscribe, comment. I'll catch you in the next one, and like always, stay creative.